Looks like my mic is collecting a lot of more static than it normally is, which is a very bad thing since the mic is shit anyway. Okay, so about the game. We are in very bad position right now. As you can see, there is a great war right now, and for reasons unknown to me, UK has decided in the previous session to join French and Russian side. I don't know why. There was a treaty signed between UK and USA, Non-Aggression Pact, or I'm not sure if it was a defensive alliance. Actually, it could have been. But anyway, the most important thing was there couldn't be a war between UK and USA. So I imagine, well, that's probably just a continuation of the previous treaty, which was heavily in favor of USA, and I actually don't understand why UK ever signed that, because they prior to this session they had a huge advantage compared to USA, but then I don't know why they signed the treaty, and just pretty much guaranteeing USA a #1 spot, because USA can do whatever they want right now, not only in North and South America but also the rest of the world, because soon their navy will overtake British Navy. And here we are. One side, UK, Russia, USA, Japan, even France against Germany, Austria-Hungary, Ottoman Empire, and Spain. Those are players. All of the previously mentioned nations are actually player-controlled nations, so we are outnumbered heavily. And when I say heavily, in terms of brigades, I think I had it written down somewhere. We are outnumbered, I think, 2-1, and then in just total soldier pop, we are 3.5 times in the favor of their alliance. So that's a serious disadvantage for our side. And also Switzerland wasn't actually in the previous session, so they were kind of protected, and what happened was they lost Savoy, since that was a French core. France was allowed to attack for that, but then they got DA got Piedmont, which is a great thing because that almost doubles Swiss population, and if they somehow manage to rebuild, we might be able to use them in this war, even though I don't really see the point of having Switzerland in this one. It'll be kind of difficult to hold this line, Aosta, Turin, Savona. I don't think we have enough troops to cover that. Currently I'm covering Dutch border and French border, just in case. I don't think Dutch will be giving military access to any of the sides in this war, but they did it last time, so I better watch out for that. And that line in the East Germany and West Poland looks okay. I think we have more than enough troops to hold them off there. Same with the Austrian mountains. There is no way Russia can push there. Now Romania was a satellite of Russia. Russia decided not to call them into the war. Now technically they can still call them in, but they shouldn't be allowed to, because they already refused military access. I mean, Austria had military access through Romania when Russia started pushing into Ottoman Empire over here, and then Russia just denied military access to Austria, and Austria had to go around. So that means that Russia could not use that military access through Romania, which is, I don't know, it's not a good thing for us actually, because if we are able to just go here into Braila, then we would close up the region for Russia, and they would not be able to push into Ottoman Empire anymore. Now over here, my super ally Kokand managed to siege a lot of Russian land, and that actually gave Russia a lot of war exhaustion. As you can see, they have 11, which is most of anyone involved in the war currently. As you can see, I'm the second one in, I think, war exhaustion with 6%. And don't think anyone else has a very high war exhaustion on their side. Well, actually, France is above me. We have 7%, mostly because of the battles, and we blockaded them for some time. But they had some devastating battles in Alsace-Lorraine, which obviously they lost. Now, in the beginning of the war, before I go into naval details, there was a huge Ottoman army over there, which was at one point completely destroyed by combined forces of Britain and USA. And Britain started occupying all of this stuff. As you can see, the stuff that is currently occupied are rebels, and Acre is still actually occupied by UK. But at one point, Austria managed to send some troops, since they had extra troops. They sent to Ottoman Empire, and they completely turned they completely crushed British and American troops over there. And now we control Suez, which is a great thing, because UK cannot bring more reinforcements from India. Also, as you can see, there are pretty much no enemy troops in the North Africa, at least. Now, Central and South Africa is heavily occupied by UK brigades, but that really doesn't matter. The most important thing was that also not only that we've beaten them in Egypt, but we also beat them in Morocco. So Spain is reoccupying that moment. As you can see, we're about to crush another part of the British Navy. Now, the huge thing that actually kept us in the war, as you can see, it's very obvious that we're outnumbered and that the war is completely going into their favor. And when they declared war, the declaration was on me for Ostpreußen. I was actually seriously considering just surrendering in that case, because I didn't think there was a way for us to win the Great War, and I didn't want it to become a Great War, but as soon Austria joined, it became. So I wanted to avoid war capitulations by just giving up land, but I don't know, Kevin convinced me that we can still fight this, and I had a bit of a surprise for British Navy. So in the beginning of the session, as soon as I saw UK allying France and starting to put troops on my border and just move troops into France, I clicked on their country and I saw that they had only, I think, 12 naval tech, which was I think at that point 4 techs behind my tech. As you can see, I have 21. I'm maxed out on Navy, almost maxed out on industry. Actually, there is integral rail system, which was discovered recently. But yeah, since he was behind in tech, I figured, well, he probably doesn't have up-to-date ships, and his navy's probably, at least parts of his navy are probably all obsolete. And what happened was, I started building some battleships, and actually let me scroll down to my fighting fleet. So right now I have 4 battleships, 12 monitors, 3 cruisers and 15 commerce raiders. Now the largest navy in our alliance is, you will actually never guess this, right? The Austrian Navy. They have 150, actually 110 right now, commerce raiders, which is ridiculous. And they didn't have that in the beginning of the war. What actually happened was that UK was trying to land into Kiel and cut me off from England, which is a strategy I actually use quite often when I'm playing a naval power, or even France against Germany, because you really should have naval superiority there. If you occupy their land, they will get a lot of war exhaustion. So what UK did was, he had like stacks of 20 or 15 transports over there in all of these coastal provinces, and he only had fighting fleet in Heligoland. He started landing troops over there in Kiel, and first of all I completely destroyed his troops. well, I managed to actually bring my boys in provinces he was going to land before him, so those were defensive battles, and then just stack wiped, I think, 100 brigades from UK, or 50. I'm not sure. Anyway, it was quite a hit for UK, and he suffered war exhaustion for that. Also, I destroyed almost 100 of his ships. That was like for the ironclads, maybe 50 ironclads, and 50 to 80 transports, something like that. Now, unfortunately, Guren, which is our host, again crashed at that point. So we had to replay that, and I didn't get to hit the war exhaustion on UK because he just deleted his troops and deleted his navy, which didn't give us war score. We had 50% from battles at that point. Another unfortunate thing was that I sneakily got my navy with a few, like 20-40 transports over there in the beginning of the war in some Spanish islands, and then started landing into Japan. Now, by the rules, they should have done exactly what was done in the previous run, in which I managed to land into Wakayama and Osaka. I was completely controlling this region, and I got into some very, very good defensive battles against Japanese army. Now the thing is, when your army is so far away from home and you're transporting it while using ships, it takes a lot of attrition. So when they actually land, they have less soldiers than they should. I mean, less than maximum amount of troops. So what you need to do is you need to occupy some of the regions, and then you will start reinforcing. All that was done by me in the previous save. But when we reloaded, Japan just sent troops and crushed me before I landed, which shouldn't have been done, because this landing of my brigades into Japan was only possible if Japan wasn't looking, and in the first run he wasn't. So he wasn't paying attention at all to that. And someone just told him, hey, you have German troops in your land. So he just moved there. And that shouldn't have been done, because if I knew that he wasn't gonna do everything he did in the previous save, then I wouldn't have sent the troops. Because I knew they were gonna die if he just sets up a defensive line. And I think that was a huge bullshit on their part, because we also lost war score, and I got the war exhaustion. I also lost brigades. I lost ships. I mean, it's a huge deal, because that was the only advantage we had, like surprise. But somehow we managed to find another British Navy over here, and we sunk most of their ships. As you can see right now, Britain has 200 ships. Right now I have 55, but my ships are up to date. His ships aren't. Austria has 150 ships, and then Spain has 78 ships. So right now we have naval advantage. Now USA has 250 ships, but those are mostly transports, so they don't really matter when it comes to fighting. Now I assume that UK is right now rebuilding his entire fleet, and we have to think in advance and expect to lose naval advantage very, very soon. At that point, Spain might be in danger, because they might try to land over there. But Spain actually has a surprising amount of troops, and he's 185, which is quite a lot, and I think he should be able to hold his front. So right now we still have a naval advantage. I don't think we can do much without it. I mean, with it, unless Britain makes some mistakes and maybe tries to transport some troops, and then we catch them before USA or France rebuild their navy, at which point we'll probably lose that advantage. Which is a huge blow, because are really exploiting the navy and the blockades to give Russia war exhaustion. France also. France was blockaded for a very long time, but then, because I didn't have enough ships to cover all of their coastline, the blockade was unlifted, because UK could just send like 20 ships and kill one of mine and go back before I can engage them in combat. But yeah, that's it. what else is to be said? So, unfortunately, I didn't really pay attention to the war goal. The Russia, or whoever declared, I think it was Russia, yeah, Russia acquired Ostpreußen. That is their war goal, so they're getting war score from the occupation of it, which is quite unfortunate, but I just simply could not afford to defend that because I didn't have enough troops in the beginning of the war to cover both fronts. Now they have a ticker on that, but we also have a ticker on our own in I cannot pronounce this. Wielkopolski, I guess. And that's a pretty decent ticker, but if we somehow manage to kick Russia and Japan out of Ostpreußen, then maybe we can turn this war into our favor with 50% from battles and 2 tickers of around 10%. That's 70% war score. We only need to find 30% more. And that can be done by adding a few more tickers on perhaps Russia in Caucasus. As you can see, Ottomans are the only nation that has an army over there. So maybe they should be adding those war goals. This will probably be unsieged very, very quickly. So all in all, I've been talking to my alliance about this war, and honestly I don't think we can win this. We might, in the beginning of the war, we maybe have 5% chances of winning the war, but then when I crushed British fleet, I think our chances rose up to maybe 10%, and currently they're probably around 10%. I don't think we can win this, and I'm even considering just surrendering right now, because if we do surrender right now, they can only add plus 20% more. Now keep in mind that this is a great war, so everything will cost less, and effectively 20%, surrendering for 20% right now is basically surrendering for 40% because it's a great war. And also something to keep in mind is that war capitulations will be added on the defeated side. If we surrender right now, then we will probably lose less, and the war capitulations will run out sooner, and I won't lose so many soldiers. So there is something that I'm hoping to achieve, is to persuade UK or USA that they're basically joining the wrong side here. I don't think the German-Austrian alliance is that strong. I actually didn't expect Ottomans to commit to this war, because I think he should be just industrializing. But they did a pretty great job over there in Egypt and somehow beaten UK. I don't think we are in such a good position compared to them. I think they've just been keep making mistakes like throughout the war, mostly in the Egypt area, and then Britain splitting their fleet over there in around Denmark, not actually paying attention to my fleet and underestimating the naval attack. So the only chance that we have of winning this war is if they keep making some critical mistakes, but I don't think they can fuck up so much for us to win the war. The most we can hope is some kind of a white peace. Maybe I don't know if everyone will agree to just remove war capitulations, but then they have a very good reason to not agree to white peace, and that is they have USA on their side. So every prolonged war for them means that USA is just gaining more and more immigrants. I cannot actually check the immigration map mode right now, because if I unpause, the countries will be controlled by AI, and the AI doesn't do the same stuff that humans do, so it wouldn't be actually accurate. So as you can see, actually let me check. Stack switch to France. I mean, I already saw this because we had the blockade of France going on, but USA has some troops over there. That's, I don't know, maybe 70, 80 brigades, 100 at most, but they never engaged in this war. The only engagement of the American troops was in Egypt, and they didn't really have that many over there. It was mostly British troops. So really USA is not paying by using his troops in this war. He's pretty much doing nothing, and he's just winning immigration. And everyone involved in this war except for USA is getting considerably weaker just because of attrition, war exhaustion, and everything that comes with it. Rebellions, just factories not being able to supply your population and your factories. That all hurts. And I don't know, maybe Japan is... I've talked to Japan before the war started because we saw his troop movement into Russia before the war started, and I asked him why the hell is he joining the war on their side? If anything, he should be joining on our side, because he could. And actually, now that I look at British India, it's completely unguarded. Huh. Well, if Japan was on our side, not only that he would get more, but then the war would be actually completely balanced, because Japan has a lot of troops, and if those troops weren't in Russia, then we would have a serious advantage against Russian troops, since Russia only just mobilized. I don't think he finished his mobilization yet. He's probably around 50% or something. 72. But still, the Russian mobilization is not finished, and well, I guess they would delay the start of the war before Russia mobilizes fully. But still, we would have huge artillery advantage, and we might have been able to push into Russia if Japan wasn't there guarding his north. So not only Japan would gain by invading British colonies and getting some very important colonies over there, because as you can see, Japan got some colonies from Dutch in the previous war. They started against the Netherlands, but compared to what UK got, it's pretty much ignorable. As you can see, all the valuable land went to UK. Japan has some population, but that's pretty much it. Okay, Jambi and Palembang have oil, but it's not as important as Britain controlling West Java and East Java. Like, that's almost 1 million population there. And then they also have Cambodia, which is insanely good when it comes to rubber production. Not to mention India. I don't really understand the reasoning for Japan to join this war, but whatever. I mean, he said he was joining the war, so UK would give him Siam, which is just not worth. I mean, when you have an opportunity to pretty much kick out UK out of Asia, why not use it? I can't understand the reasoning really. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Now the good thing is Austria is in a pretty decent economical shape. I don't think... He said he wasn't actually taxing his people at the maximum, but I'm not sure, because AI does a lot of stupid things here and changes budget. As you can see, he has only 30% on construction, which is never true. Like, Player would never do that. That's pretty much it. What can we expect from the next session? We can expect our side to lose the war, and after that, I think there will have to be some alliances, which is, otherwise the game will remain completely imbalanced, and I just cannot see either USA or Russia just winning the game, because UK, by joining this war on the same side USA, that they just completely lost their naval advantage and like overall advantage over USA. USA is currently 7th in industry. They will quickly catch up as our countries bleed immigrants to them. As Australia is not the player anymore, so they don't have a PvP competition in immigration. It's only PvE, and basically they can they can take on Brazil or anyone over here easily, anytime they want. If we somehow manage to win this war, then see, even winning the war doesn't benefit us, because we win the war, then people will say that we are just, oh, we're actually so strong, when that's not true at all. If it happens to win the war, it will only be because of their mistakes. And then I imagine the alliances will stay the same. So UK will still be supporting France and Russia, USA. Maybe USA won't care. I mean, it's Gurren. He's playing to win. He doesn't really care about balance over here. So, you know, he might send some troops, but he might not fully commit to it. Because he knows, as long as he doesn't take terrible losses or, you know, endanger his fleet or naval dominance, then he can do whatever he wants, and USA will just keep growing. So I don't really think that was a very smart move by UK. And overall, I don't think this war should be happening at all. At least not this early, because they had no intentions of attacking France or Russia. If anything, Russia should be fighting Britain and Japan for dominance in Asia. I have no clue what Japan is gonna do after this war. This area in eastern Russia used to be shit, but now that they changed the states, it's actually quite decent. Oyotuni region is not amazing, it's actually a very small region, and the reason that I kept it as a one region and didn't actually merge it to this one, to the pink area, is that I wanted Russia to still have some naval capacity in the late game. And then this Katanga region is actually very good, and I should switch to Russia just to show you. Okay, so Katanga region has 850 population, and then this region, which was also a bunch of states merged, Mordiaka region, is the most populated region in Russia. So that's above Kiev, above Moscow, as you can see. It used to be like 3 or 4 separate states, which I think I thought it was very annoying for Russian players. And actually Russia is quite buffed in this mod, just because of those 3 regions being merged. So you don't have to spend as many national points on improving those. You only need 3 right now. This is all occupied by rebels. I didn't actually notice that. But I really think that the logical move for Japan would be to jump on Russia right now and take the Russian east from them. Because Russia will find it very, very hard to fight a war on both fronts against Germany, Austria, and Japan if it comes to that. I mean, that's just simple logic, and Japan has nothing to lose there, because their front in Korea and Manchuria is really easy to maintain. Even if they have to split their army, and in case of them not having naval dominance, they can still just split their army in half, and half of the army just protects the mainland, half of the army goes into Korea and Russia. They still outnumber Russia by at least 3-1 in that area, if Russia has to fight Germany and Austria. And he would probably have to, no matter of the outcome of this war. Whichever side wins, I think Russia or Germany, Austria will be swapping territories. So if we win, we're probably gonna take Wielkopolski, maybe Mazovia. Actually, let me see. This could be a dream. Oh, actually, I don't know. No, it's still good. If we take Wielkopolski and Mazovia, that would be amazing for us, because then we would have quite an easy front line against Russia. because all these bordering provinces, see this like line, Przemysl, Tarnow, Krakow, Katowice, Oppland, Gniezno, Bromberg. We had too many neighboring provinces, and what I kept doing and what I had to do was simply cut the front over here, set up the defensive line over there, because I couldn't afford to man all my entire border against Russia. But if we somehow get to win and take Mazovia and Vilskopolsky, it will be much easier. We'll see what happens. I am not so excited for the next session, I have to say that. I don't think we're gonna win. It's a very, very low chances for us to do that. But then I'm very excited for the next game, because there are some huge changes to the mod that will happen. Hanover will be starting in Prussian sphere in the beginning, which means that Prussia only needs Saxony and Denmark in their sphere to form NGF. That means that Prussia will be able to form NGF very, very quickly, pretty much in the first year of the game. If they are not interrupted, and they really shouldn't be. I don't see the reason. I think Austria largely benefits from the formation of NGF, because if Austria just trades Saxony for, what's the province called? Sigmaringen, and Austria gets to form SGF, then Austria is in a very, very good spot. This is not, as much as this is a buff to Germany, this is actually a much bigger buff to Austria-Hungary, because then Germany can actually stand in a 1v1 war against France, and I don't think Russia should ever risk a 2v2 war against Germany and Austria early on, because they don't really benefit from it. They do benefit by kicking Russia and preventing them from forming Germany, but the war is very costly, and I think they should be focusing on encouraging clergymen instead of soldiers early on. And with Austria having South German Federation and all the Italian miners in their sphere, Austria will be very strong, and Austria now has multiple ways of expansion, and they are not tied to Germany anymore. So NGF forms, Austria does not have to defend them against France or Russia in case Russia declares a 1v1 war against Germany or against NGF, because NGF is now strong enough to hold that war and fight 1v1. Maybe even win against Russia, I don't know. So Austria now has some interest in expanding towards the Balkans, which they did in history. They also have an opportunity to go into Italy if they want to prevent Italy from forming. Or, they can, what I would do, they can just sit there and fully focus on clergymen and just get their education up and be late games powerhouse and industry. Right now Kevin is doing that, but I think he's very, very soon gonna fall behind in industry, because right now what's keeping him in the #1 spot is mostly Bohemia with 200 industrial points. I mean, that's 1/4 of entire industry of USA just in one state. And the late game that won't be enough, but we'll see. I mean, if Austria is just untouched and they sit there with a huge population growth, they'll be very strong. That's pretty much it for today. See you guys on Sunday. Still just the same time, and if anyone is interested in joining the next one, I mean the next campaign, not the next session, you can still join next session if you want to just feel the game and see how we actually play. The next campaign will probably start in 2 or 3 weeks, and before that I will release a small, or actually short video about how to manage your country in the beginning, and just like, it won't be too much into depth, just like explaining the very basics of the country management, like how not to go bankrupt, how to properly manage your budget, and what to do with national focus points. Because I think that's the most important thing that separates like good players from bad players, is how you use your national focus. As you can see, for example, if I switch to Austria right now, they have 5 national focus points on craftsmen, which brings their army down to 150 possible brigades out of currently 220 brigades in use. And that's terrible, because now that they can't replenish any losses they take. And just to compare that to, for example, Germany have 249 out of 243, and I was taking a lot of damage during this war, only because all the soldiers are being encouraged. I mean, all the national focuses have been used on encouraging soldiers throughout the entire war. So that's pretty much it. See you guys tomorrow. Have fun.